quarter gets underway. Lyset and Minson. Minson takes it out of the air with one hand, throws it on the left. Here comes Dowhouse, but the ball comes out of his hands. McGovern smothered by Tom Boyd. Goes again, Tom Boyd. This time the smothered Dowhouse. Now he's got some room to move. Gets the 1-2 from Picken. Off the right boot, measures it to McRae. Well done, Western Bulldogs.
Well, McRae is the one that they're not putting the time into. They're going a little bit wide of him. They're getting plenty of their possessions. With Shuey, Pritis, etc. getting big numbers. But McRae is doing the damage without a leg rope at this stage for the Dogs.
And notably, this is their first mark inside forward 50 for the game.
Well, we've seen Picken, Honeychurch from free kicks, kick truly. McRae, close. Not close enough. Boyd. Well, he runs it over the line.
It's everything bar kick the goal, big Tom Boyd. But that's the thing, it's not about marking the ball inside forward 50. If any marks, he's had a fair chunk of that to start. We just couldn't get the left toe onto that one. But yeah, it'd be more run and carry and hit the front of those packs.
Straight down the guts from Hearn, all the way to Natanui. Now Rosa, here they go again. They can keep moving, or McCrae can turn around. He's got a runner. Shuey, well, he somehow got past Goods. He's kicked the goal, I think, but that's coast to coast again for the West Coast Eagles.
Brilliant play by the Eagles.
They torched a few players forward to the ball as well, but they got there.
I think LaCroix was entitled actually just to go back and have a shot, but he did handball it. But let's have a look at this. It's Shannon Hearn again. He's just so dangerous. Clearly he's going for Natanui. Natanui really just gave a contest. Well roved. And that's twice, I think, that they've been exposed, the Dogs, just because they have not been 100% switched on.
Outstanding stuff.
And we saw on that vision there, I think it was Shepherd also was out of screen, left of screen, and could have got the ball as well. But great play. That was an 80-metre kick by the time he chipped to himself to start with from that kick out.
And it scores a level. Bontempelli into the game now. Rows it from Natanui. Has a bounce. Kicks long. No tools there for the Bulldogs. Here comes one, though. He's going to get it. Boyd gets it from Picken. And Tom Boyd a little bit too much on it. Curls it around. We might have a boundary throw, and we do.
Well, ironically, Bontempelli got his first possession. Spoon-fed by Nick Natanui. Just read it beautifully.
So the Dogs have set up here. They're all one-on-ones. Not a lot of room to move. And we'll have a ball up.
So repeat stoppages is a win. We talk about, you know, repeat forward 50 entries from pressure, but also if you can cause multiple stoppages, put pressure on the defence.
Bontempelli with a tackle on Yo. We'll have a rush behind anyway.
And that's actually a win for West Coast. Now they gain possession, and this man, Shannon Hearn, has the ball in hand.
Hard running from LaCroix, still going. It's running all the way across the ground. Still going, LaCroix.
Did well. They opened up some spaces. They've put in the mind of the Western Bulldogs they've got to defend deep, which is open up some holes in the shorter kicking department.
You don't see that often. That's a shank.
Yeah, from Hearn. You don't see that very often at all, but they've still got numbers, though, West Coast. Pritis with time. Floats it up high. A couple of players go down. They both appeal for the free kick, but the man with the ball was Shuey. He's gone. That's holding the ball.
Dale Morris has been doing it for over a decade now for the Dogs.
The glove.
Gobbling up forwards and think they've got him.
Just think he's not overly quick. I'll get away from him, but he seems to close in quickly.
In comes Shepherd. Wanted it the most. Read it nicely.
Did well, actually. Changed his mind right in time. Had a good start.
Yeah, he has, hasn't he?
Great awareness of what was around him. Big switch might be on. He's going to have to run 5 metres, though. He's got to go now quick.
Rosa goes the long option.
Now they're away.
Butler. Next in the queue, Yo.
Shuey again. He just loves getting in that side. It wasn't Shuey this time. It was Cripps getting inside the corridor.
And he spots a man on his own. That's a lot of space inside the centre square for Rosa. In turn, he spots up Marston. He's going to go to the top of the square. Lyset. And that's again. And Lyset plays on, takes on Minson, kicks the goal, and the Eagles are back in front.
Well, that was great ball use And then at the end, it was really disappointing stuff. Luke Beveridge would be really disappointed in that lack of manning of the mark there deep. But great use to go around, to take time and space away from the Western Bulldogs. Chip it around, and then when they had the ability to go quick, get it in quick.
It was a gutsy kick. They've been courageous with their kicking all night, and they're getting away with it at the moment.
Precision passing by the Eagles ends up with that goal for Scott Lysette.
But that's probably 2 goals now. That one with Will Minson. Lactic acid, I'd say, running through his brain at that stage, but just wasn't 100% switched on. He was thinking about the next contest rather than guarding the mark.
Bulldogs forward this time. There's a hold there.
Well, that's a couple of drop marks that just can't be dropped. One from Elliot Yeo. They got away with that one, and Matt Rose across from the goal just before quarter time with a similar drop mark.
Again, Marston on the way out. Here is the man you just spoke of, Matt Rosa. Chipping and presenting for him was Sheed, but he doesn't mark it. Johannesson needs to give it. He does. Picken accelerates, brings Bontempelli into it. Again, he goes long. Again, Stringer the target. Cromer needed for the Western Bulldogs. First to it, Shepherd. Wants the free kick, didn't get it. Ball comes out to Yeo. Marston, closed down. Speed. Honeychurch can't get past Butler. He's gone.
Great tackle from Butler.
Suicidal handball there that put Marston under pressure, but that was just a nailing tackle.
Minson, Big Will, did okay. Gave it over to Honeychurch. He hooks the kick. Stringer's at the back. So too was Redpath. Hits the post. Boundary throw-in. Eagles by 5 points. That was the margin at quarter time, but it was the Bulldogs who were in front. Oh, Rose's handball was a hot one. Hearn, well, he just did the only thing he could, rushed it behind. He didn't know it was going to come to his feet.
He just wanted to miss out on hitting that point post as well, so it wasn't a boundary throw-in.
I've got Lacroix. He's looking for the long play. He's 30 metres deep with no one on him.
Shepherd might be the go here. No.
Marston getting plenty of it.
Here goes Lacroix. Look out for Lacroix if they can get the next kick. Well defended by the Dogs. They went wide.
Well, they still have Kennedy, though. And he looks into the middle. Risky kick for McGovern. He did well, did really well. He's got to go twice. Oh, indecision, and they might still win the free kick.
Yeah, high from Liam Picken. But again, we just saw a wave of half back from West Coast Eagles players. Just a high energy game at the moment.
McGinnity just shorted out to Rosa. He's got 20 metres on his own. He can assess what the next option should be, and he pops it over to Butler. We've seen them do this a few times.
Well, they haven't been just bombing long. They may get forced to in the end, but they've been pretty professional the way they've chipped it around. He wants to chip it around, but in the end forced to the corridor.
Well, he's forced it wide. It was 3 Bulldogs there, so not a good kick in the end.
It might get reinforced from the coach. We don't do that.
Honeychurch ran into trouble. Bontempelli, that's special. Picked it up nicely, and away he goes. And he kicks it long. Over the back he goes. A bounce here for Stringer. He's under pressure. He gets his boot to ball. Just to behind.
Exciting play, though. This is just brilliant footy up and down. Not sure if they can keep up this pace.
I'm sure they can't.
But I'm loving the courage of both sides. I think in particular at the moment, the Eagles with their... I guess these sort of kicks down the middle of the ground, they are playing as direct football as I've seen from an Eagles side for a long, long time. They're getting away with it.
It's clear what both teams are trying to do.
And they're kicking at a high percentage, Jared. 79% efficiency. Shuey's kick. There's Lacroix. He'll give it off. Kennedy will give it off. Could have given it off to Lamb, but he decides to take it himself.
It's pretty clear how they're trying to set up. They are getting guys up the ground. They're trying to find one of their forwards who's empty or unattached, and at this stage they are doing it pretty well here, the West Coast Eagles, just starting to get a little bit of a break. And there you see Lin Jong just caught in 2 minds, and really good team football there by the Eagles.
Well, it's just such a high energy game that the Western Bulldogs are trying to sustain. It's whether you can sustain it for a long period of time is the issue.
That's 3 in a row for the West Coast Eagles. Let's just get down to Barry Hall quickly.
I think West Coast defence has been absolutely outstanding. We thought they'd struggle with the tools down to the Bulldogs forward line, but they've launched most of their attacks from the defence. Hearns had 14, Yo's had 12, McGovern's had 12. They're launching all their attacks from defence.
Pressure now on the Western Bulldogs to reply here. Johannesson has to go. Didn't complete the mark. Could be costly.
Oh, out the back again.
Sheed caught. Tackle was a good one from Roughhead, and Johannesson owes him one.
Just to continue on what Baz was saying about the big forwards for the Western Bulldogs, the problem is, and we spoke about it in the first quarter, unless there's really good pressure on the ground, they can get rebounded against real easily.
Advantage taken by Cripps, and they bang through another goal. That's 4 in a row, West Coast.
Well, I think it was only a matter of time before Will Minson got pinged, either for looking at the man and not the ball at the centre clearance, or grappling and trying to lock up Nat Nui. He's done it really well so far and not given away a free kick. Let's take a look here.
You're right, he has been good to keep Nat Nui grounded, but he's grabbed hold of him with both hands there.
When you restrict the hand he wants to hit the ball with, it just leaves the umpire with no other choice but to ping you. But, geez, there's a handy advantage.
I think that was the major issue from Will Minson, not so much the free kick, it was the 5-second advantage. Yeah. And reinforcing modern football, you have to make sure you play the ball, don't play the whistle, continue on.
2 goals to Cripps. He joins Shuey with 2. A little mini break here for West Coast, and they win another free kick. It's Shuey again. And that's courage, or that's just confidence to give it over to Nelson. Wood on Lamb. Handball, a tough one for Dixon. Pressure from the West Coast. Turnover could be coming here. They're really under the pump, the Bulldogs. McRae steps through some traffic. They're going backwards. Johannesson, Boyd, smothers a beauty. Look at this, West Coast. They're still going. Lacroix just can't get free. Got half a boot to it. McRae again. Fished it out. Murphy.
Well, Murphy has been brilliantly held in this quarter by McGinnity. That's just his second possession, and he was one of the stars in the first quarter.
Cramery was a tough one to mark, the kick from Roughhead, and that's tapped to the line. Surely that's deliberate, but it won't be.
I think at this stage of round 1, they'll let that one go because everyone's very tired. But yeah, we spoke pre-game with Adam Simpson about the important players for the Western Bulldogs, and he's certainly locked down on Bontempelli, and he's locked down on Murphy, 2 real keys.
They just haven't had enough of the ball, though, in this term. The Dogs, their midfield winners have been a bit starved. Bontempelli's had the most possessions in this term, and it hasn't been many. They're 18 possessions down, 30 to 48 in this term. Boyd's had 3, Bontempelli's had 3, just a number of 3, so they're just not winning the ball.
The concern at what stage, and I'm not thinking they'll do it anytime soon, but that's when the Boyd-Redpath combination may become an issue.
Well, between them, they really had no impact whatsoever, have they?
No,
2 possessions between them.
None at all. So, I mean, I know it's an investment in the future.
Wallace is free. They haven't spotted him yet. Now they're going to run out of room for him. He's still going, but the long kick comes up towards Boyd, and there's a push.
Very obvious push, just out under the ball. But again, that's with the big young forwards just out of position. So we see here Boyd just eases McGovern with a hand in the back in the marking contest. So that was clearly displayed in front of the umpire.
Terrible kick on the way out from McGovern. Now Wood can get home from here, but has he got the confidence to just go back and slot the goal?
Good defence by the Dogs. Poor kick from McGovern, obviously, but you're going to if you're going to live by the sword, you're going to occasionally get a few slashes by the sword, and on that occasion it bit them.
4 goals in a row to the West Coast in this quarter. A chance here to get one back on the reverse angle. Eastonwood just inside 50, strikes it nicely, splits the middle, and the margin back to 9 points.
Pressure that's generated a goal from a turnover or a free kick has been the major asset of the Western Bulldogs. Just haven't been able to sustain that pressure for this quarter, and West Coast have been able to cut through them. But on that occasion, poor kick from McGovern, just didn't move forward. And once again, there's a very handy little turnover that's been rewarded on the scoreboard. Well done from Wood to go back and kicked that one from 45 on a 45-degree angle.
Just the goal stopping a little bit of momentum there. It just edges them a little bit closer.
Boyd into the ruck, trying to get him to get some leather on the hands.
Bounce does favour Naitanui, but Boyd comes through and he's going to win a possession. Just got his hand to it in time. Dalhouse, high ball up. Hearn ricochets back towards Bontempelli. First to it, Yo. Going to take them on. Luckily got the handball away in time. Wallace, it spills for Naitanui. He can't get free of Honeychurch. Selwood, Pritis, away go the West Coast.
Here's the wave again.
Yep, they've got runners. Wellingham chipping into the middle. Shuey, Hearn can go all the way to the goal square. He will do that. He spots Lamb with a bit of room. Wood got back, spoils towards the boundary. Lacroix there, bounce favouring the Eagles and Sheed. Sheed's wrapped up. Wood again on hands and knees, can't get free. Morris throws it on the boot, wants the boundary, and the professional defender finds it.
You know how they're setting up. They've got a player behind the ball, West Coast, and they're running through in waves. It's an exciting brand of football.
Yeah,
what's the most taxing way, boys? Which one's playing the most taxing time? Because the frantic nature of this game, I think fatigue's going to play its part in the second half.
I think they're both playing pretty similar footy in some ways. It's all based around harassment and chasing, and then run and gun when you get it. So I think they're both going to be looking for the oxygen.
They're overdoing it here. The Bulldogs had a lot of handballs, and finally Dalhouse kicks it. He spots a man out wide in Honeychurch. Bontempelli helps out. Hand in there first though from Shepherd. Cuts it off. Bontempelli again. Advantage should be paid. It is. Away goes Stringer. His kick around the body. Gets plenty on it. Bang! Another goal to the Western Bulldogs.
Big fan of this kid. He has got enormous talent, Lynchy. He can, as you see there, just kick them from all angles under all sorts of pressure. He's got an innate sense where the goals are. And this is one that they're a little bit stiff. He did drop it after having no prior opportunity, but that seems to have gone now. But that is a huge kick.
It's a massive kick. Great pressure again on the ball carrier. A little turnover there, but got the ball back very quickly and converted their opportunities.
The frantic pace continues. There's Jake Stringer with his second. I mentioned he kicked some goals towards the end of last year. 4 bags of 4.
Yep.
Exciting talent.
He's a player on the up.
His defensive work rate appears really good as well, which is important.
Margin back to 3. Shuey. Selwood has a little bit of time to move and spot Lamb on a long lead. Stays on his feet. Bangs it forward. Clever play. Kennedy and Roughhead. Handball by Boyd is a good one to McRae, and they get out of trouble here. The Bulldogs. Dixon on the chest.
As Baz was talking about work rate from both teams, I actually think the Bulldogs have to work a lot harder for their goals. They're not getting the easy goals out over the back, which West Coast have been able to do on a couple of occasions. So I think this is a very taxing game plan. They've designed it around the assets they have, obviously, but yeah, high demand.
McRae's ball, Natanui's up, couldn't quite take it. Front and square, Crumming, Jong uses Honeychurch. The young Bulldogs combine. Honeychurch to 40 metres, floats it across. It's a poor kick. It's still alive though for Picken. And taken over the line by Butler.
Well, drop marks have cost the Eagles 2 goals, and that one from Naitanui nearly cost them another. But gee, mistakes are being preyed on by both sides at the moment. It's high pressure footy.
From the throw-in, Bontempelli, no room to move. Just got the handball out. Honeychurch goes down low. Shepherd there, and we're 30 metres out, directly in front of the Western Bulldogs goal. They're down by 3. Nick Nat wins it easy. No one there to take it though. Picken overruns it. Jong. The little terrier tries to get through.
There's a real science there. You can see young Brad Shepherd trying not to drag the ball in, but trying to put a hand on it and kill it.
But again, another stoppage in the forward 50 for the Bulldogs. This is what they want, build the pressure, but they just can't let the soft exit go.
Stringer with a strong exit, Alistair. And the smothered kick falls for Wallace. By hand, McRae's on the right side, wonderful smother gaff. And he gets a quick handball from McGovern. And the West Coast will break. Kennedy.
Gee, that's good play.
The
Look at
outlet
the work
pass.
rate now.
With the game being played in tight, the smother is just becoming such an essential part of footy. The sides that do it are far greater to harder to beat than those that don't do it well.
Lamb, clever handball to Cripps. Advantage paid. He got pushed in the back as he got rid of it. Up it goes towards Wellingham. How will it bounce? Here's Lacroix pushed in the back. Lacroix. It still comes towards Wellingham. The cavalry arrives in Murphy. Lysette overruns it. There's Bulldogs coming from everywhere. And they swamp him.
Wasn't Lysette's go to get it off the ground and quickly onto the slipper. But Wellingham was on this near side wing. He ran 100 metres by himself, but just couldn't get on the end of the ball.
Bulldogs ahead in the tackle count. They've had to be. Big punch out. Honeychurch takes it cleanly and accelerates away.
He's been really good.
He takes on Prittis. He says, "You can't catch me," and away he goes. Now it's one-on-one. Kick out in front of Stringer. It's a good pass, and he takes it well. He's got to wait.
That was great play from Honeychurch because he waited for Stringer to get into space before he hit him with a really good pass. Now, outnumbered long, 3-1. They've got to be patient. They have to go short, otherwise they're going to turn over.
He's got to just chip it back.
Yeah, had no
They've got a
choice
couple in the
there.
middle.
Fans sometimes get frustrated by this, but you just couldn't blaze away into the forward 50.
Big switch. There's a man over the top if he spots him, and he does. So Talia's kick is now the loose man over to Boyd. Roughhead. Oh, that's a one-on-one. That's a tough one for Dixon. He lays the tackle, but West Coast do well to get out of trouble. Kennedy to Prittis. Short ball in the middle. Lacroix has a man wide. Murphy came off the bench to close it down. McGovern caught. Handball a little bit strong. Roughhead goes down, just tries to paddle it towards Morris. Numbers went out for the Bulldogs. Jong. Long ball out in front of Redpath. Nelson comes at him. Redpath down, up, boot to ball. Not too bad at the end. Wallace almost a mark. Kept it alive. Again, the intensity great from both teams. Again, it's a ball up inside the Western Bulldogs forward 50.
Well, they did well to get it back there, the Western Bulldogs, because Lacroix had the ball in his hands, elected to handball off, overused the ball for mine, but I think it's so much fatigue at the present time. There'll be nothing wrong with just grabbing the ball and just letting people in your team recover.
Big Redpath going to have a shot for goal, but high contact, and we just saw him have his first possession for the day 30 seconds ago. Now he's going to have the opportunity to have his first shot at goal.
Been pretty impressive in the NAB challenge.
Well, I think he shows that he's a big forward that can draw the ball. It's going to take plenty of time. This is only his 4th game of AFL football, so they're going to be very patient with him, but he can't just be one-dimensional. Just can't rely on overhead marks.
Big Jack Redpath to put the Bulldogs back in front after the West Coast broke out to a 15-point lead. Tight angle, only 25 metres the kick. If you're a big forward, that's how you do it.
And if you're not going to get many opportunities to have a shot at goal, you've got to make the most of them, because he'd be the one that's just starting to think about in the coach's box at the moment. We'll probably pull the sub first 5 or 10 minutes into the third quarter. Redpath would be the one in the gun at the moment. So he gets a chance through a free kick. He's got to go back and slot it and continue what he's doing. That's making a pretty good contest when the ball's in the air. And he's just got to make sure he puts pressure on the ball carrier when West Coast transition out as well. It's a nice shot from the big man. He looks pretty fit this year.
Looks really fit.
Saw him debut down at Simmons Stadium against Geelong. Didn't have a mark that day, but it just looked like he was a presence. Now he's ruck roving now.
He was a big presence back then, and now he's less of a presence and better player for it.
Gee, Minson almost got boot to ball there. They would have been away, the Bulldogs. They've kicked the last 3 after West Coast kicked 4. So the margin is 3 for the home team.
It isn't interesting. We've got Minson and Redpath in here in the ruck. So whether Minson's going to drift off the ground and have a spell on the bench.
Over the top. That was the third up jump. Quick hands from the Eagles. Rosa, Gaff, Shepherd, back to Gaff. Caught on his wrong side, not for long. Rosa. Kennedy, good courage from Wood. He got in the way, made it a 2-on-1 situation. Talia loses it out the back, through Sheed's legs. Lysette, the big man, gets down to pick it up. Cripps turned around, didn't see Johannesson standing there, wraps him up, ball up.
Again, both teams tackling very hard. Not much time and space at all.
Lysette, 2 hands, and then recovers. Minson, pickpocket, steals it off him. Over the top of Dixon. Here comes Cramry, went past it. Nelson. The kick from Marston floats forward for the Eagles. It's a kind bounce for Kennedy, but he's closed down quickly by Roughhead.
It's hard to say the players don't take possession, but if you've got a feeling you're about to be pinged, he could have used that as just a tap over. There was a couple of players going past towards goal. The ruck option was certainly on.
Big Will wins it out of the ruck again. Does enough to get it to the middle of the ground. Cramry takes on Hearn. Hearn just barrels him down the ground. Cramry with a second effort. Drags it in. Got to be careful. It spills out just in time for him. Marston comes in for the West Coast. Over the top of him. Goods.
What about that for a one-on-one? Cramry and Hearn. There was a lot at stake. If somebody gets clean possession, it's a goal either way. And that was a bowling ball. He did well too, Cramry, to get back for the second effort.
Marston at Prittis going past. Handball, McGinnity. Dalhouse gets him. Won by Johannisen, but Minson was under some pressure. Rosa, likewise. Murphy gets him. Minson again. He's the artful dodger at the moment. He's pickpocketing everything. Stringer needs the handball. Does, just in time. Around the corner from Boyd are behind.
He's had a good few minutes here, the big fella.
Will,
Minson.
He has.
Stealing everything.
Big, strong body around the contest. He's a tough one to play on, I would imagine. Looks absolutely exhausted there.
Yeah, he's looking for half-time, Big Will, but he's
mostly been double-teamed by Nick Naitanui and Lysette. Not having too much of a spell on the pine.
There's Lamb. On debut into the game early. If you joined us late, Mitch Brown down with a knee injury. Looks to be serious. So numbers down back, an issue for the Eagles. But they're doing okay. There's only 4 points in it.
As we saw, Big Will Minson just absolutely exhausted there. Lysette went off. Nick Naitanui comes on and just runs into the other side of the ground.
Naitanui over the top there. Sheed, cut off by Cramry. It's clever play. It's a good pickup for a tall man in Roughhead. Johannisen, boot to ball in time. John, got a good step, needs it. Boyd's under pressure. Sheed down low, Bontempelli rolls him over. Didn't give away the free kick. And here we are again, Lynchy.
Yeah,
ball
stoppage.
up inside the forward 50.
Forward 50 stoppage. Boyd appeared to be a little unlucky there. It might have been a high contact, but this is where they're working really hard. Labour-intensive effort here.
Marston's getting a stack of the footy.
Yep, 19 disposals now, game high. Clever play by Boyd. Oh, good use of the body by Stringer.
That is really smart body use. Didn't drop his opponent along the ground, just held your position. The momentum of his opponent coming in will
He's got it in
put
him
him in a
too.
good position. Oh, absolutely.
He could sink this.
I don't think he should even consider dishing it off. He
It's
can
a
have a chair.
tough
He's that
angle.
relaxed.
He's moving the chairs.
But you're right, he's one of those
Little-
goal kickers that can kick these.
Still looking for options, a little glance left. Now, sets his mind on the target and blows it.
He pumped him up. He's butchered that one. But he's a very talented player.
Sometimes when you back a roughie and you get a run for your money, you think it's worth it. Well, he gave us no run at all, but he's been exciting this evening.
Nick Nat's ready to jump.
Almost a free kick against Minson.
Yeah, umpire saw it.
Yeah, just trying to protect the back of his teammate Bob Murphy, and I think Big Will apologised to Bob as well.
Inside the last minute, that's plenty of time for the West Coast because they do kick goals quickly, but Kennedy just lost his footing just behind play there, so it made it easy.
I think he changed his direction after Lacroix put his head down as well. So the first quarter has actually mirrored the second quarter. The Eagles got off to a fly, and the Dogs have pinned them back and should well take a lead to half-time.
You've got 30 seconds to do something here. The West Coast have got plenty of numbers back to try and slow it down and close up the gaps. Towards the boundary line, it's forced out of play.
was well done. As we spoke about who was going to stand up with Mitch Brown going off with that knee injury, Elliot Yeo on big Tom Boyd. Just edged his opponent, much bigger opponent, under the ball.
There's a hold there. Could have played advantage there. I'm not saying that it would have been that easy up forward, but...
Well, they need every player back the Eagles, and the Dogs need every high jumper they've got underneath this one, because they've got basically one kick and mark opportunity.
Well, they haven't marked a ball. They've made one mark in forward 50. It'd be criminal against West Coast if they took one here.
Shorts it down the line, but the siren and time beats the Bulldogs. But 4 goals to 3 in the first quarter, 4 goals to 3 in the second quarter. Nothing in this game. 4 points is the mark in half-time. It was 5 at quarter time. It's been played at a terrific pace. Enjoyable footy. Half-time here at Etihad. It's the Bulldogs leading by 4.